Among the wide variety of FNAF games, there are 5 that stand out way more than the rest, and I spent over 10 hours beating them all in the confines of this video. Yes, I'm bad at games. As well as beating them, I ranked every night in every game at the end of the video, and of course, I left the best one till last. Or so I thought. Our first game is one masterpiece of a FNAF game that everybody knows by now, called Juniors. The game starts off with a small conversation with this random Pooh Bear character, which of course I skipped, and headed straight to the main game itself. The mechanics are somewhat similar to Observation Duty and Phasmophobia, where the player attempts to find this ghost in a bunch of cameras by finding clues that the ghost will leave periodically. Oh. Yeah. Upon ending each night, we have the opportunity to watch random tapes that give lore hints, which I decided to ignore completely. So what's interesting about this game is that night 2 was the hardest bloody night out of them all. Yeah. It was Freddy on. Slightly embarrassing. Ah! Freddy! Oh my god, I'm gonna vote you first. I don't care. I'm having a mare, guys. It was Foxy. Oh my. Regardless, at night 4, we had some bromance with the bear and headed to the actual hardest night, night 5. We had to find 7 ghosts before one of the animatronics devoured my noggin. It was the puppet. Why would... No! It was Puppet! You. It was the bloody... Oh shit. No, I was meant to call him. Meant to call him. Yes. After that was defeated, we head on to the most well-made night I've probably ever seen, with a complimentary cutscene that knocks the original out of the ballpark. The game transforms completely into FNAF 2 for some reason. Oh my... Oh, I'm dead. What the... what the... Oh my god, I cannot wind up. Cool jump scare, but I couldn't do anything. I sound like Foxy, I forget FNAF 2. That is until every animatronic we know and love gets fused into one via conveyor belt. And that's when the epic music starts playing, heart starts to racing, body starts to panicking, blood quickly rushes to the penis, blood quickly rushes to the brain as we expect this to be the hardest night we've ever played. Oh, it's 5:59 already. Despite the intimidating presentation, this level was way too easy that even I, yes, this guy, beat it in a few attempts. What's going on? What's going on? Just so freaky. Get out of the way, I cannot see his beady ass eyes. Oh my god, his eyes. Ah! Where? You what? Okay. Ah! God, that's freaking scary. What the hell? What is going on? It's 5:30, guys. I don't know what I'm doing. This guy just keeps appearing. Am I bugged the game? I can't flash you. I don't know what to tell you. Why? I was 5 seconds remaining. I couldn't use it. What's the button for the light again? It is W1. That's so scary. It's like a lion. There we go, guys. That was easier than night 2. And the game gets wrapped up with a final conversation with Pooh Bear. Next in our top 5, we got Tealerland, the game with objectively the best visuals. The game commences with a delightful yet short point-and-click adventure, which quickly turns into a claustrophobic nightmare. It's a fun sequence and changes to the typical intro to most FNAF games. And this is where the game is generous enough to give us a tutorial that once again I skipped, a decision that I will soon regret. Night 1. Chaos. Ah, I go back. Why is the music gone crazy? I don't know what's going on. What are you? Ah! You're not coming with me.
Yeah. You're coming with me.
And E. Very good. And that's it. What the hell is going on? Even as soon as night 1 is able to turn my brains into a runny baked beans texture, but most players can beat it through luck and randomly clicking things. On night 2 and 3, understanding what the bloody hell is going on was key, which isn't an easy task, especially when they decide to introduce petrol. You're Tealer. Ah! You're not Tealer. You're Tealer. I'm getting a virus. I was trying to stop viruses. What? What? Law gas canister. What does that mean? How do I get this gas canister? Oh, what the hell does that mean? This. Oh shoot, wrong one. I don't know what I'm doing. Ah! I see how it is. Ah! I can't tell if it's Tealer or not Tealer. I do not know. They look exactly the same. That might be racist, but I don't know. What are you? Oh, that's where I need to take it. Okay, I see. Alright, now the power's back on. I spent half an hour trying to figure out if I was looking for diesel or ethanol, but I eventually found out what to do by figuring it out very independently and not by complete accident. The good thing about these animatronics is that they're weaker than KSI's mental strength after one Twitter post, meaning that they take maximum 3 jump scares to eventually kill the player. This is great, especially when it's close to impossible to tell what the hell's going on with 6, count them 6, big ass animatronics on the other side of this keyhole. Needless to say, night 4 was chaotic. I do not know what's going on. It's like 70 animatronics out there. I'm just doing stuff until you work. What is going on? That is nuts. Night 5 was cool and was complemented with some epic cutscene, but unfortunately, it was as forgettable as Post Shift 2 compared to the next stage, vaguely named Finale. Sure. This night was a breath of fresh air from the original game. Still confusing, but it felt really satisfying to get rid of that thing. He's like there. What? You are a freaky beast. Oh, that's the last of my battery. What's that? What is that? No, I don't have enough battery. Come on. Please be in there, please be in there. Yes! Upon finishing this level, we get a really cool but confusing cutscene, which is incredibly fitting, knowing how confusing this whole game was. The Glitched Attraction, the best full free-roam FNAF game by a couple light years. Upon its release, it has remained an absolute gem in the FNAF community. It starts off with, once again, a unique sequence conversing with what I can tell are robot strippers. Once they go through the typical procedure of telling you you're in for a bad time, okay, and stripping you of all your clothes, and stripping you of all your supplies and nutty buddy butter bars.
That's my Nutter Buddy Butter Bar!
We get introduced to our first nightmare, literally. If you didn't know, the Glitched Attraction is a unique game where every level is like a whole new game, with new mechanics and animatronics, which I think is really freaking cool. So our first level is obviously FNAF 4 related. Good visuals, good puzzles. If you haven't seen this level by now, you've seen more grass than I have. One moment to mention is the end when Nightmare Bonnie shows up from the back rooms right behind the player, so that's pretty horrifying. Oh my goodness, you're a big boy. Moving on to night 2, we of course have FNAF 2. And oh my god, what an annoying level this was. Oh, baby. I'm dead. The first section was simple code, and that I could figure out. But the cog section was just the worst, especially with some actually scary animatronics chasing you. Ah! What are you doing? Ah! As well as that, you need to find multiple cogs hidden in the most awkward positions the devs could possibly come up with, whilst winding up the goddamn Freddy thing. This took a whole hour, but I finally managed to struggle my way to the end. Get in! The next stage is FNAF 3, which, unlike the real game, I mostly enjoyed. At the start of this level, the player must find the code, which is always hidden in the same spot, but I couldn't find it for about 38 lifetimes. Ah! This section in particular is hard to understand since the animatronics require incredibly particular actions to combat, and it does require multiple deaths to get down. So I'm happy my character is some sort of triple-headed cat with 27 lives. I eventually figure out what I'm doing, and it actually becomes a very enjoyable level if you enjoy FNAF World, which I do. After solving the small puzzle, a cool pee-pee guy cutscene happens, and a code is given to the player. A code that doesn't work. It turns out the code had another step to it, which I just couldn't figure out because I'm kind of retarded. So I went up in flames. On my next attempt, I ended the level and publicly execute Springy by decapitation. Ah! Oh, that's scary. The next level, if you haven't guessed, starts with Baby's massive Giat. This level was very fun since it was one of the only levels I wasn't stuck on. The gameplay was cool, puzzles were fun, and it made sense. The biggest problem in this level was of course Funtime Foxy, which is starting to become a theme in these games. Ah! Unfortunately, this level is unmemorable since it's pretty easy and it's sandwiched between the two hardest levels in the game, which we'll get to in a minute. But for now, the player goes through a cool sequence with mini arenas, which is just great, until they somehow manage to unhinge the elevator. Once you wake up, we realise we are freaking Peter Griffin with those solid ass thighs. 1 maze later, and we get introduced to the veiny man himself.
Oh boy, it's a lanky man.
And one hell of a night this was. It's scary, pretty difficult, fast paced, cool mechanics, animations, puzzles, and secrets. I'm a bit biased because I love Ennard, but I would tap. Regardless, we managed to escape with very little difficulty apart from finding bloody what's-his-face's desk. We escape via Tealerland ladder and end up, of course, in the FNAF 6 level. Now, this level was a disappointing finale. It was worse than FNAF 2 at explaining. I don't know, maybe I'm just brain dead. The mechanics were actually fun, like the iconic pizza game and the sound effects. Once the very confusing puzzles were eventually defeated, we escaped from the nightmare through some sort of trapdoor instead of escaping over the fence, so it's good to know my player is as brain dead as I am. This trapdoor would lead to an interesting encounter in the form of a bunny woman, who gives my soul to the other bloody bunny guy. We wake up on the other side of the slide, where we witness the horrific bite of 83 for some reason. Then we meet this disturbing bear. Then we have the cutscene that I'll show at 0.25 speed as to not give everybody epileptic seizures. 10 out of 10. 9 out of 10 actually. I never got my nutty buddy weather bars back. The Endurance. This FNAF game shouldn't exist, but here we are. After its cancellation but reconstruction in 2018, children around the world were happy to finally see its release back in November 2022. As soon as I saw the concept of this game being an epic crossover of FNAF SCP, my joy went stonks. The game was kind enough to dedicate an entire night to the tutorial, so good for me. Night 2 is where the party starts. I can see how people can struggle quite a bit on this night, considering I knew what I was doing and it ended with very low power. Night 3 was pretty similar to Night 2. Night 4, this is where the chaos begins. Peanut in particular was an absolute nightmare, sometimes already being halfway to my office before I boot up my upgraded toaster. There are also impossible combos, which is where the difficulty came from. Why?
Oh no, I'm dead.
Why did I do that? No!
Peanut's already travelled the world.
This night was incredibly close since Peanut was being a little bish, and he actually thought I wanted his company here in the office. How wrong he was, because I escaped seconds before he could consume my forehead.
So you do it, Peanut.
Yes! Not far, baby. As expected, Peanut is able to traverse the world roughly 67 times before I can even see him. This night was by far the most fun night since it required a bit of concentration and skill, and it had its moments.
No, why? Oh no, I didn't! What is going on? No, he's gonna come running in and kill me, isn't he? Yeah, thought so. That's so cool how it takes some time. Oh my god, what the hell?
What? What? Why? Yeah!
I won!
After a few tries, it's nice to come to the power of my D-class fingers, and we get a small cutscene basically showing how we got lied to, and we are still stuck in solitary. I guess that's what we get for skipping the first night. Here we go, the big boy. 7+ hours for this one, and I think you know exactly what game this is.
After that, Mom put me in bed.
It's like he came out of a bonfire.
Monstrous beings coming to get a helpless child from the shadows.
Genre Creation Story Mode. Upon being released 7 years ago, this game revolutionized the FNAF gaming community. So, first memory and the confusion begins.
I am absolutely terrified. I might do in my pants. When are you going away?
Ah! What?
I don't understand. My light's been on like all night. I'm going crazy. I did it! Or I died of craziness. I don't know. I probably died of craziness.
This level is simply named Bedroom. There's a horrifying scenario in which we have to fend off the core-full animatronics whilst existing in a literal cot whilst trying to remain sane and calm. The mechanics are fair, it's just I'm an airhead and I kept going insane due to death staring these guys when I wasn't supposed to. Once I understood that, the night was beaten easy. I'm glad that night was over. Surely the next one won't be that bad, right? Right. The living room quickly turned into the dining room. Ah! Because I just could not get the hang of it. The idea behind this level is to segregate the pathing of Freddy and Foxy so they don't appear at the same time, resulting in death, whilst trying to link up the timing for Bonnie's intervening. So unfortunately, my crippling IQ failed me yet again. I decided to get a pen and paper and thought it was a grand idea to write down an entire dissertation on the movement of these robotic buffoons.
Alright, so I've got a paper with a plan on it. Hello? Hello. He's gonna attack. You can tell how bad I am at this just because how unscary this is now. The amount of times I've died to these same animatronics.
So after multiple hours of failing over and over and over again, I just thought, what's the heck? And I decided to wing it without taking notes or guidance. Sort of the way they intended the player to play it. And 2 tries later, the job was done. The 3+ hour nightmare is over. I can sleep well tonight without Foxy and Freddy busting open the door like some freaking FBI. Moving on to the office, firstly, what an amazing cutscene.
Randy, what are you trying to do, Fred boy?
Oh God.
You're so goofy, Wolf.
And secondly, what a novelty to have a no luck, fair and understandable mechanics level with free roam and camera usage. I have no complaints, this was fun as hell and it got progressively more interesting adding animatronics as the night goes on. This took about 25 minutes to beat, which is partly why I'm not trash talking this level, and I recommend it to all the people who are bothered to suffer through the first 2 levels and install this 1GB game on TJoC. Night 4, the basement. The most disappointing Night 4 I've played in a long time. This saw trap-esque level had very little guidance, effectively forcing you to die stupidly. This level, to quickly explain it, forces the player to figure out what the hell is going on to advance the night. The goal is to get the big red and obvious number down to 0 whilst avoiding the various animatronics that randomly appear for some reason. The idea behind this memory is to basically give power to the animatronics by fulfilling the request of Gold Boy before the final night. But the gameplay was just confusing and long, so I got stuck on the dumbest stuff. It took 30 minutes for me to figure out where to shove the different items apart from deep inside my arm. Another thing about this memory was the inconsistency of these levels, with some simply being walked down a tunnel to others being trying to freeze 2 animatronics whilst turning you back to 2 more animatronics, press a button to unlock a door with another animatronic that you need to somehow freeze and pass whilst avoiding the previously mentioned 4 other ones to open a door that ends up in the back rooms. The door! So that was fun. Night 5, oh golly, where to start. This memory called the attic may as well be Satan's lair since the veins on my forehead were expanding due to overstimulation of the anger emotion.
Oh my god, I'm gonna rip my eyes out.
So this final battle was, and I'll be honest, a very good ending. Except for the incredibly on-brand, poorly explained mechanics that did not help whatsoever and literally gave me the wrong information, this level was very satisfying. During the night, the creation explosion will slowly move up towards the player with the only way to defend yourself being some sort of flash taser thing, which doesn't seem very wise to me. I would bring at least a Leopard 2 tank or something, like, because have you seen that thing? As well as fending off that abomination, we get 2 endos that randomly decide to imitate Foxy from FNAF 1 by running from literally 6 miles away to eventually hit a wall with a comedic sound effect. Also, there are 2 more endos in the vents that for some reason go to the opposite door to whichever vent they're in. A gimmick that would kill me about 5 times before understanding. No thanks to the death screen telling me the wrong information over and over and over again, by the way. Also, Golden Freddy will appear in the hallway with his big R forehead, which distracts the player from closing the doors and kills a player after 2 seconds of exposure. After understanding all that shite, you may have noticed that the clock isn't displaying in real time but some jumbled numbers like some Baldi's Basics answer. This is because the only way to advance the night is to find and flash Goldie Boy in the cameras 12 times to actually finish the night, effectively allowing the creation to make progress to devouring my flesh. Despite the frustrating mechanics, the visual and gameplay quickly made up for it. For example, this happens when the creature catches you. Ah! The hardest part of this level was trying to find Golden Freddy when you needed to find him, and soon this happened. Freddy? Yes! Get in! That wasn't as bad as I thought. The ending cutscene, as expected, gave me the tingles, and there we go. The torture known as the Joy of Creation story mode is over, but don't click off just yet since we have to rank these gruesome experiences. Starting with juniors, we got night 1. Just like every night 1, this one is very easy, but they explain the mechanics very poorly, making it quite confusing at the start for new players. Night 2 is by far the hardest night in this game. I don't know why I struggled so much for this one, even though it's only 3 characters, but I think it does prepare the player good for the next night, so we're going to put it in decent. Night 3 is about the same as night 2, just a bit harder. Night 4, they introduced the mechanic of the connection loss thing, where you actually have to find the animatronic that's causing the camera to stop working, which I find quite cool, actually. I'm going to put it in fun time. So here I kind of messed up. Night 5 was actually a regular night, and night 6 was the night I'm going to talk about now. So just assume I put night 5 in meh. Epic. It was so epic. It lacked the difficulty, actually. However, it was still one hell of a night, so I'm going to put it in 10 out of 10. The Endurance, night 1. It is a very cool introduction, though it uses an entire night, which it probably shouldn't. You got a cool cutscene, you got a cool narrator, actually showing you the ropes of everything you need to know, so I'm going to give this 10 out of 10 as well. Night 2 in the Endurance. If you don't know what you're doing, you'd struggle a bit, I feel. Still, it's a fair introduction to the characters, since there's only 1 or 2 of them that night, so I'm going to put it in decent. Night 3 of the Endurance. It just adds more characters, so not much change there. Night 4 of the Endurance. Everything just gets way more aggressive. Night in specific is an absolute nightmare. It's basically just the same as Night 3, just a bit harder. So I'm going to put it in meh. Night 5, this is an interesting one. Basically, it just ramps up everything to 100 and adds a cool cutscene that did give me tingles in the end, so I'm going to put this in fun time. I actually did enjoy the night though as well. Like, you had to go full focus. It was quite cool. Right, the Greatest Attraction night 1. I feel like it's almost the perfect introduction to this game. Visuals are outstanding. It was fairly well explained, at least compared to the other nights. It was a decent difficulty as well, so it wasn't overly hard, it wasn't overly easy, so I'm going to put this, I put it in fun time. So night 2, this one was absolute nightmare. I don't know why night 2 in all of these games are just terrible. I'm not saying this is terrible, it's just very difficult to understand what you're doing. First part's fine with the code. That's pretty simple, self-explanatory. Just find the code, that you type it in, boom. The second part, we need to find all the cogs and put them in. That just wasn't explained at all. And I am a bit stupid, believe it or not. So it gave me some good scares, so I'm going to put it in decent. Night 3, oh my god, this might be the most trial and error night I've ever played in my life. It took me a good 10 minutes to figure out what I'm doing. And once I did understand it, it was actually quite easy. They only attack like once every 5 minutes or so. Once again, my difficulties came with me being stupid and not the level explaining it well. I still find it quite a cool night though, so I'm going to put it in fun time. Now we've got the sister location level. I've always enjoyed this level. I don't know why. It's just a very clean look. The mechanics are very well made with like the theme of it all and stuff. This Fun Time Foxy is an absolute nightmare. I feel like it's just hard enough and just easy enough. It's very well made, good design. I have to put this in 10 out of 10. Night 5. Oh my goodness. I really enjoyed this level. I don't know why. I just really love Ennard, basically. It's just cool mechanics, cool gameplay, cool everything. Like, nice cutscene with him at the start. I have to put it 10 out of 10. Night 6. This one was horrible. I didn't understand any of it. Like, sure, the puzzles were okay. It's just the explanation of what you had to do was just so rubbish. It wasn't even there. So I just didn't really enjoy this one, so I'm going to put it in meh. Night 1 of Tealerland. If I can remember it, hang on. I think that's why the rest of the game is so confusing, because it just started off with bad bases. Yeah, I'm going to put this in meh, just because it was, I feel like it was a bad start. I think most players have no idea what they're doing. That's the importance of a night 1, is to try and get the player captured activated and understand what they're doing. In night 2, this might be where most people die a lot, because you have to die a few times before it like really starts getting into the brain what you're actually doing. I still think it's better than night 1 though, so I'm gonna put it in decent. Night 3, okay, now things are starting to get a bit satisfying once you understand what you're doing, and then you can sort of adapt to the new animatronics. I believe it was this night where they added this generator system as well, where it goes all dark, so that's quite cool as well. So I'm gonna put this in fun times. Night 4, they added that doll character where you had to click on the doll and then there's like music box and stuff. A very cool idea actually. As far as night goes, that was pretty decent. Night 5, I didn't really see the massive difference between night 4 and night 5. As far as night 5's go, it was pretty weak. I'm gonna put it in meh. And now this is where it gets interesting, the finale. Now I feel like this was almost a perfect ending. I say almost because it was quite poorly explained. I say poorly explained, it might just be me being an idiot, which it probably is. It was just the right difficulty. I have nothing to say about this except it was incredible and it deserves a 10 out of 10 spot. Oh, now here are the nightmares. Night 1. I think it might have just been me being an idiot. So I started like staring right at the animatronics and that just lost my sanity. But when you keep dying of sanity, they should tell you what you're doing wrong and how to keep your sanity. And that was what was frustrating about this night. I guess that is sort of the fun of it though. So I'm not going to put this too low. I'm going to put it, because as far as games go 8 years ago, especially a FNAF fan game, this was peak. So I'm going to put this in decent. Night 2, oh my god, I could write a list down of all the things I'd rather do than play this night again. Firstly, because I'm an idiot and I tried to just copy some sort of strategy. I don't know why I did that. I feel like if I actually tried to wing it from the start, it wouldn't be that bad at all. I'm just an absolute idiot and that's why I made this night so bad for myself. Bonnie was sort of luck based, I have to say. If he lands there, you just got unlucky. I guess that's where the difficulty comes from. So I'm going to put this in decent. I like the free roam aspect of it. Night 3. What a night. I have to say, this was the best night out of all of them by far. Very cool mechanics. Very cool visuals. Free roam. Get to whack the hell out of Freddy. Just what a night. I have to put this in 10 out of 10. Night 4, the most forgettable night out of all of them. I actually think this is the one night I hate the most. I feel like it was so rushed and poorly done. None of it was explained at all. Like, you had no idea what you were doing. Like, there's zero replayability on this because it's all, like, once you know, you know. So, this has to be the one I dislike the most. So I'm going to put this here, unfortunately. Night 5, once again, what a night. They made an entire other FNAF game out of this night. It was very frustrating at the start. We had no idea what the endos were doing, which is normal because nobody explains it to you. If they were in the right vent, you shut the left door. If they were in the left vent, you shut the right door. It took about 8 deaths to understand that. But once you got the flow, and understood, it was probably the most satisfying thing I've ever done. But unfortunately, this does miss the 10 out of 10 spot just because of those endos being really poorly explained. So I'm going to put this right there. And there we go, guys. Of course, I'd love to see your opinion down below. 100 likes and I'll beat the Jaw of Creation again. But if you enjoyed this video, you might enjoy some of my other scary content here. If not, I thank you very much for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.